What's up to Lion Talk Live? So we love you too, buddy.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live, Coach Dan, by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
I love nothing more than watching Lions Talk Live every morning. Woo!
Woo!
All right, well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host once again, Dan Thornton, and I want to thank you all for joining us here today. Lions Talk Live. As you guys know, exactly 23 hours and 44 minutes from now, all official cuts have to be in. Lions trying to jump on it early, and as you can tell from today's thumbnail, Hendon Hooker is officially a former Detroit Lion at this point. You know, let's bring in Superfan Hutch. We're going to talk about him. Ian Kennelly, Mitchell Agudosi, amongst others, have already been released. Superfan Hutch, let's look at Hendon Hooker. What went wrong with his career? Because, man, when we drafted him, there were a whole lot of Lions fans in the fan base saying this is the heir apparent for Jared Goff.
Yeah, and there were some people in our fan base that thought this guy was going to take Jared Goff's job. You know, unfortunately, it just never worked out. I don't know if it was just our system, if he just couldn't get it down. I don't know, man. Like, he was a top 10 pick going into that draft. He tore his ACL, and I don't know if he just forgot how to play football. Like, I don't know what happened to him because he just had so much talent in Tennessee.
He did.
And it was hard for me. Like, I liked the pick. You know, and looking back on it now, it sucks because, you know, there were some names there that you could have got that were pretty good on the D-line. Name a few. You know, the Rams took a couple, the Bucks took one, and these guys got 12, 13 sacks in a couple, you know, in 2 years. And they could have been nice pieces for the Lions, but you know they risked getting because they didn't have a quarterback, whatever. So they took a shot and it just missed. And unfortunately, this is one of the biggest Brad Holmes whiffs I think we have had yet today. So it's okay to say he doesn't miss much. It's okay to say it sucks that it just never worked out. But I mean, as Lions fans, we wish him the best. And maybe Dan was right. He just needs a change of scenery. Maybe he can go to an offense that's simpler for him, and he can learn the playbook and be a serviceable backup for his career.
You know, you can see obviously the immense physical talent this guy had, but let's talk about some of these other cuts. Mitchell Agudosi, were you shocked by this one?
No, I wasn't, man. I think he was just kind of. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if Uku gets cut too. I think with Nate Lynn and Keith Cooper Jr., I think those guys just did more in the preseason. You know, I just think, you know, Agudosi, I feel like he could be one of those guys that come on late. Like he keeps showing flashes. Like you keep seeing him get to the backfield and he makes sacks. So I think him and Uku, they're going to be good pieces on our practice squad. And if we need them in a pinch, they can be there. I could just see those guys being, you know, just guys we call up in a pinch or whatever. But yeah, not shocked at all by that one.
Let's talk about Ian Kennelly, because as recently as, I guess you could even say Saturday, there were a whole lot of publications saying this guy might have just claimed the fourth safety spot. But do you think Lawrence Strickland's play Saturday saved him and put him into that fourth spot? What happened with Kennelly?
Yeah, I do. I think Strickland, just because he knows this team, he's been on this team for a few years now. I think just the reliability that they have with Strickland. I think Ian Kennelly is probably he's not going to get claimed. I think we'll end up getting him back on the practice squad. You know, I think he'll be a nice little piece for us if, you know, he ever does make the roster, just because he knows and he's played well. You know, if we need him again down the stretch, one of our safeties go down injured, God forbidding anything. But yeah, I think it was just the reliability of Strickland, his physicality. what he knows with his defense. I mean, he was with the Glenn and now the Shepherd, so there's not too much that they got to learn. But I really like Kennelly, man. I thought he played well for us.
Yeah.
I think I would, like I said, I even when I was on the show Sunday morning, I thought it was a 50-50 toss-up between him and Strickland. And I just think the team is just more comfortable with Strickland.
I get that because he has been here, like you said, for a few years. Now let's talk about the curious case of Broderick Martin, because let's face it, there are a whole lot of Lions fans that thought he would be on a 91-person roster. He would be the 100th man out, that you, me, and everybody else in between would be cut. He'd be cut before everybody else. Do you think that maybe he's done enough to stay with this team, or are you shocked that he hasn't been released by now? What are your thoughts on Broderick Martin?
Yeah, I will be very interested to see if he makes this team, and if he does, who over.
Right.
I think he doesn't make it over Wingo. I don't think he makes it over Nate Lynn. I don't think he makes it over Keith Cooper Jr. He had a very bad game Saturday, and it just hasn't worked out. Like Miami, he showed flashes, and then Sunday or last Saturday, it was just bad. Like he was getting pancaked. He was just nowhere near plays. Yeah, I'm very shocked. I thought he would be one of the first cut, but we'll see. I mean, maybe because he's been with the team, he fits some kind of scheme that Calvin Shepherd wants to run. I've been shocked before, but Nate Lynn definitely has to make this team. If he doesn't, I'd be very shocked. He was like, actually, I think I read something the other day. He was like our highest graded defensive player in the preseason. Yeah. I think he was like a 95 something grade. So yeah, and Keith Cooper, I thought, look better than Broderick. And I just think with the guys coming back, I don't think Broderick has a spot on this roster just with McNeil and these guys. So, but I've been shocked before. We'll see. I'm actually interested to see if this one's actually going to get cut or not.
Right. Because, like you said, we've seen flashes in a couple games, but Saturday was not good. All right, Hendon Hooker, do you think the Lions end up bringing him back to the practice squad? Or do you think, man, oh, man, they're looking over everybody else's cuts to see if they can find a number 3 emergency quarterback for the practice squad?
Yeah, I think they'll probably just cut ties with Hendon. I think they've just had him long enough that they know what they probably got out of him. It just, from what Dan was saying in those press conferences, I think it was just time for them to say, hey, we appreciate your services, but, I think you just need to change the scenery. The one guy I would like the Lions to pick up would be Kyle McCord. He just got released by the Eagles. Okay. He's 23. He's young. Anyone knows he did play at Ohio State. He did go to Syracuse, last year. So I think that'd be a good pickup for them if they do pick him up. That'd be something you could bring in, kind of mold under the roster, and then who knows? I could see. I don't know, depending on how him and Kyle Allen battle, but Kyle could. If Kyle McCord is that guy coming into the camp, I could see him definitely taking QB2. It would just be cheaper, so.
And then Anthony Pittman, were you at all surprised? I know I did not have him on my 6 linebackers that I kept when we talked Sunday on the 53-man roster breakdown. I just thought some of those other backups were a little bit better. Pittman, thoughts?
I kind of figured it. I think with Zach Cunningham just being as emergent he was, it was going to – I feel like that was kind of like the most crowded room that was going to be hard to like keep people, just because you already got Campbell, Rodrigo coming back. You got Anzo. So it's deep. And then Cunningham they signed early in the offseason, who's going to be a nice piece. He looked really good in the preseason. So Pittman I think we'll probably get Pittman back. I could see him going to the practice squad. And then was it Trevor Nowaski didn't go out with it was Turner, and I'm just wondering if Nowaski ends up somewhere on this team just because of his play last year and stuff like that.
Right. All right. For those who just joined us, the cuts are starting to happen. It seems like MCDC, Brad Holmes are just on this a little bit early. You got Ian Kennelly, you got Hendon Hooker, Agudosi, Pittman already released, along with some other people maybe that aren't as big of names, so not going to worry about them too much. Hendon Hooker came in with a lot of promise, a lot of upside, a lot of physical abilities. This year, though, the preseason was not kind to him. I hope he can find his way to re-energize his career, but it's clearly not going to be that with the Detroit Lions. Final thoughts here there, Superfan Hutch. If you had to target 1 or 2 spots for the Lions to try to upgrade before the Green Bay Packers, what would they be?
O-line, I would definitely say would be one I would like to see them try to get. Wide receiver is not going to be one of my choices. I think we were pretty set there. I would say maybe another cornerback. See if we can find someone that's getting released. I would make a call to Asante Samuel Jr. That would be a nice little piece to add to this defense just in case someone goes down. But, yeah, I would say O-line and maybe cornerback. I feel like we got a lot of the guys out of the UFL or whatever it was. So, you know, I would like to see someone a little more like experience that's played in the NFL level. You know, I know those guys play in the UFL, whatever. But, yeah, I would say O-line, probably corner would be my two. And I guess edge. If you can find someone with an edge, you know, that would be great.
All right, Superfan Hutch, why don't we go ahead and wrap this one up, not make it a long one. Why don't you go and give yourself a shout-out to everywhere they can find you, support your efforts, and your fandom of the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, as always, man, you guys can find me on Twitter, Superfan Hutch. You can find me on Facebook, too. The Facebook page is The Lions Den. Go drop me a follow on there, guys. And always, you can find me on here with Dan and the Duke Crew and the rest of all the content creators. So thanks again, Dan.
No worries at all, my friend. All right, guys, if you would be so kind before checking out, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit all the buttons. Take care. Be a good human being. Do something kind for someone you don't know. And we'll see you guys all on the next Lions Talk Live. Catch you all later.